Hi, welcome back to Dan's Current Studio. Today I'm going to be doing a review of my Range Rover. It's a 2011 4.4 TDV8. So without further ado, let's take the thing for a drive and I can chat to you as we go. Okay, so welcome to my review of my Range Rover, which I've had for about a year and a half now. That said, I've only done about 4,000 miles in all that time, obviously because of the pandemic. I haven't really been travelling much, and when I have been using it, it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. It's very comfortable. Okay, so this is the 4.4 TDV8 with the 8-speed gearbox with pop-up gear shifter. It's a 2011 car. They actually stopped making these in 2012 when they brought out the new model. But these are still great value for money. I actually picked this one up, as I say, it was actually 2020 in February, and I paid £10,000 for the car, basically, which is a hell of a lot of car for the money. Everything in it is electric. There's leather and wood everywhere, and it's just a very nice place to be when you're driving. And although it's got the power if you need it and you put your foot down, when you're driving it you don't really feel the need to use it because it's so comfortable. You just want to sit in it and waft around, and it's just a nice place to be. And actually I'd rather take longer to get to my destination so I can enjoy driving it for a bit longer, which there's not many cars you can say that about, really. Specification wise, this is the Vogue. It's not an SE, it is a Vogue though. So it's got the electric and heated front seats with the memory position, 3 memory positions in the driver's and the passenger side. Obviously electric heated wing mirrors, which fold in, and these can be programmed to fold in automatically when you lock the car to prevent them getting knocked off by passing drivers. Obviously central locking, which is standard anyway these days. Dual zone, well, in fact it's not dual zone, it's tri-zone air conditioning, or maybe even quadruple, because you've actually got control. You've got 4 different controls for the air conditioning. You've got the front seat passenger side, you've got the driver's side, and then in the back of the car you've actually got the option for 2 passengers to have the same air coming through from the front passengers. So if the driver is set at 19 degrees, the passenger behind the driver will also get 19 degrees, and if the front seat passenger has got his at 24 degrees, then obviously the rear seat passenger behind him will also get 24 degrees. But it's pretty good, really. I mean, it's very effective and keeps everyone in the car happy. Masses of room in this vehicle. I mean, I actually DJ, so I need a lot of room for equipment in the back of the car, and it's got a massive boot anyway, but the rear seats do also fold down if you need extra capacity. Audio wise, you've got basically DAB digital radio, you've got FM radio, You've got a CD multi-changer, which is actually in the front glove box. You've also got an auxiliary point in the rear of the car, so you can just plug in a normal 3.5mm jack and listen to your music from that. Or there's an iPod or iPhone connector in the glove box, which is what I use, which I then plug my iPhone straight into, so I can actually play the music straight through that, and that can then be controlled by the steering wheel controls for volume, skip track, etc., which is really good, and it also charges the phone, so that's very useful. I think the cable was about 50 quid, because you have to get an adapter, obviously, a special cable to go from the connector in the car to an iPhone, and then it's the old type, so then you've got to get another adapter from Apple to convert it to the new style Apple connector. But having said that, it's all works perfectly, so it's worth the money really, and at least, as I say, you can then control everything with the controls on the steering wheel as you would normally. Now, as I said, it's an 8-speed automatic, but you have got normal drive mode, and you've also got a sports mode, which, to be honest, I've never really tried out, because like I said before, I don't really want to drive this car fast. It's not really what it's designed for. You've obviously got the height on the suspension, which is adjustable as well, so you've got the off-road height, normal driving height, and then you've got an entry low height, so you can actually get in and out of it easily. Get in and out of it easily, which is very helpful. Although I've got the side steps, it is useful to be able to lower the vehicle. And also, when you park the car, I always lower it, because it then also makes it harder for people to steal your catalytic converter, which seems to be something that's happening more and more. Not so much in Devon, but in the cities, there seems to be more and more of that going on. So always good if you can keep the car as low as possible to make it as hard as possible. You know, if they want to nick it, they will, but if they've got to jack it up and make lots of noise, then they're probably less likely to than if it's just they just literally crawl underneath and cut it off with an angle grinder. Right, I'm literally just going to fill up with some diesel now, so I'm going to cut there, and I'll be back with you very shortly. Okay guys, welcome back. Just filled up with fuel, and the car was pretty much empty, but it did cost £120. It took £120 worth of diesel, so that gives you an idea of what you'd be looking at to fill up one of these Range Rovers. Actually a really nice day today. I might just take it for a bit of a drive, just see if I can pick up a bit of speed along the way, give you a bit more of an idea. Now this actually, as I say, is the 4.4 TDV8, which actually has twin turbos, so you've actually got 2 turbos on this, and it does go like stink if you put your foot down. I can't really do it at the moment, because as I say, there's too much traffic around, but it will go, and it does fly. But as I say, I don't tend to drive it like that, because, well, for one thing, the fuel economy goes way down if you start putting your foot down, and it just becomes a much more expensive hobby. And the other thing is, these cars, as I say, they're not really designed for that. You know, it's great if you're on the motorway and you want to push on a bit or overtake someone. That's fantastic. You've got the power there if you need it. But for sort of everyday driving, you just want to sort of relax in the thing and waft along and listen to the great music that's in here. You've got the great stereo. It's got the Harman Kardon Logic system in it, which is fantastic. As I say, seats are completely electrically adjustable, even down to the headrest moving up and down. You can actually move that up and down electrically. The backrests, everything, height, whatever, and the tilt and everything on them. So fully electrically adjustable seats, which help you get a great comfortable driving position. Obviously, being high up in the 4x4, you get a good view of the road ahead as well, which is always an advantage. And especially in traffic, you can see what's going on ahead. If you get caught in traffic, you can look over the top of the cars rather than sitting there looking at the back of a car thinking, I wonder what's going on up ahead. Economy wise, I suppose around town I'd probably get about 20 mpg, which is brilliant, but with combined you're looking around 20, 25, somewhere around there. And when I take it on a run, which I have done a few times, I've actually got 31, 32 mpg, which for a 4.4 V8 turbo diesel that's built like, built the shape of a brick and is not very aerodynamic, I think it's pretty incredible fuel economy. I mean, obviously today cars are becoming more fuel economic and going electric, so eventually this will probably become obsolete, but I'm just glad I managed to get to own one while I still could, because they're just great cars. I've always wanted one, and it puts a smile on my face when I drive it, because I do love it. It's just a lovely car. It is a lovely place to be. With a car like this, if you are stuck in traffic, whether you're stationary or moving slowly, I'm at the moment doing 40 miles an hour, it's a nice place to be. It's comfortable, and as I say, you just put your tunes on or whatever, and or the radio, just relax. It is just a very nice place to be. You feel like you're sat in an armchair. You've got the armrests if you want it, and you can adjust the height of that with this little knob on the end, which is fantastic. As I say, just really nice place to be. Obviously fully climate controlled interior. Don't need them today, but you've got the heated seats. You can also, if you want to turn the traction control off in a 4x4, I don't know why you'd want to really, but you can if you did want to. Front and rear heated screens. I've just had the front screen replaced because obviously done on insurance, had a big stone hit it, and it actually damaged the heated front screen, so had a brand new screen on, which cost me £90 excess on my insurance. So not too bad for a screen, which probably I would imagine costs a hell of a lot more than that. Now, the other thing you've got with the audio system, which I probably didn't mention before, is television. I mean, how useful having a television in your car is debatable anyway. The reason I say that is because you can't watch it while you're driving. So when the engine's switched on, you can't watch it. You can listen to it, but you can't watch it. Now, when you turn the engine off and start watching the television, after about 20 minutes, half an hour, the car thinks, no, you can't watch the telly. I want to go into power saving mode because you're going to run the battery down, and it turns itself off. So I'm not really quite sure how you're supposed to watch the television. Now, I know on some of these they've got a split screen so that the driver can have sat nav on the same screen as the passenger watching the TV. This car doesn't have that split screen ability, so which I suppose then it is useful for the passenger. They can watch the telly, but as I say, in this, guys, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe someone can tell me how I can watch the telly without it automatically turning off and saying I'm going to run down the battery, because as I say, you get halfway through a program, I mean, the only things I'm probably likely to want to watch is some occasional live football match or something. I might be on a long journey and pull over, and if you can't sit and watch it for an hour and a half, what's the point? You know what I mean? It's so I don't know what the answer is to that. Can you watch this telly for any longer without running the battery down? So the DAB radio is very good signal. The only thing I've noticed recently, because I did recently fit an X-based dash cam to the car, and I've got front and rear cameras, and it did warn that the rear one might interfere very slightly with the DAB signal, and I think it possibly has. I mean, it's not terrible, but just in places where the reception wasn't great before, it's now a little bit worse. But it's nothing really to worry about. You know, as I say, overall the DAB reception is very good on this car, so I can't grumble. Now in a minute I think I've got a bit of dual carriageway, so I am going to just put my foot down and let you hear the turbos. And they're off. Yeah, very quick. Shouldn't really be doing that, but there we go. Just a quick example. Okay, this particular model is in the Stornoway grey, which is a very nice dark metallic grey. It's got the full black leather interior, and it's actually got the dark wood, which sets off very nice against the black, I think. Now, as far as mileage goes, so this is now done. As far as mileage goes, it's now done 114,316 miles. As I say, I've done about 4,000 of that. It was on, I think it was just under 109,000 when I bought it. It might have been 110, but I'll let you know in the next video, because I'm going to get the paperwork out. Like I say, been very good. One problem I did have, it did have a nice set of Cairn alloy wheels on, but they were very marked and they'd been curbed quite badly, and I didn't realise one of them actually was slightly out of shape. And one day when I was driving up the M5 going away for the weekend, I had a flat tyre. It literally just went straight down. Couldn't stop because I was in the fast lane, so by the time I got onto the hard shoulder it shredded the tyre. But when I went to get a new tyre put on that alloy, that they told me that the alloy was basically shot. It was no good because it was out of shape, and obviously once an alloy's out of shape you can't really start hammering it. I mean, you can, but would you trust it after that? So basically what I did was I actually bought a brand new set of alloy wheels actually on eBay. They're actually the turbine type. Now, they're not genuine Range Rover, but they are a very, very good copy, and I paid £875. That's just for the wheels. Obviously I had to buy the tyres separately and then get them put on, and the wheel nuts, etc. I think in total it came to about £1,200 with the tyres, fitting and everything else, which for a brand new set of turbine alloys, which made the car look a lot better anyway, I thought was quite a good deal. Since I've fitted those wheels, the car drives, it's a lot smoother than it was. Oh, there's a squirrel in the road there, mind him. It drives a lot more smoothly than it did before. Obviously the old wheel, if it was slightly buckled, then that was giving me a bit of a harsh ride and noisy ride, to be honest, and the car's been a lot quieter. And I think MPG's gone up very slightly, not very much. I mean, you're not going to get a huge difference on new tyres and things, but it does make a slight difference, and obviously, you know, makes the car a lot safer to drive as well, having brand new wheels on it. The other minor thing I had to do for the MOT, the first MOT last year, it sailed through, it was fine. This year I actually had to replace one of the lower arms. The bush had gone on the lower arm on the driver's side, but to be honest, I bought a whole set of bushes for both sides and drop links for £120 on eBay, and I just fitted the one I needed, so I've got all the others should they go. And cars of this size, they do tend to eat up bushes and things because they're heavy cars, big heavy cars. There's a lot of movement, particularly in an off-road vehicle, you know, and you've got the hydraulic suspension as well. You are going to get through a lot more suspension components on a car like this than you would on a normal car, as it were. But all in all, I thought that was quite reasonable, really. You know, as I say, I did do it myself, and luckily I can still do jobs like that myself. There's some things I wouldn't tackle. I obviously did take it to the main dealer to get a service done because it has got full history, and I wanted to keep that up because I think, you know, when you come to sell the car on it, it's important. You know, it's good to have that, really. Plus, it's peace of mind. So I took it into the local Land Rover dealer at Barnstable, who did a full service, and I think in the end it came out to about £460, which I thought, it was only an oil service really, so it was the smaller service, but I thought it was quite reasonable anyway. So quite pleased with what they did, and they actually gave me a courtesy car for the day, which was Range Rover Vogue, obviously a newer car than this, so that was quite nice. And obviously I didn't pay for the use of that car, so I thought that was quite reasonable for the service. Just going to quickly run through some of the costs I've had since owning this car. Now, I actually paid £10,000 for this car, which I purchased on the 22nd of February 2020, just before the pandemic, and the mileage at that time was 109,000 miles. So it's a good value car. Was very pleased with it. It came with one key only, but I actually asked them to send me a spare one if they had it, and sure enough they did send me the second key a few months further down the line. Not before, unfortunately, I'd actually had another key made by a company called Key to My Car, who were very good. He cut and coded a new remote key, and also repaired the original case, which was the rubber was starting to come away from, and that was a total of £225, which I thought was quite good, really. So now I've obviously got the original 2 keys and a spare, so I've got 3 keys for the car with remote. The other thing I replaced were the gas struts on the front bonnet and the gas struts on the rear bonnet, sorry, the rear tailgate. £40.42 for the set of 2 bonnet struts, which I bought myself. And the rears, I think, were about 35 quid, which I also fitted myself. Very simple, straightforward setup. I did have one service done on the vehicle, which was due. It was only an oil service, which was carried out on the 30th of November 2020, and that was done by County Land Rover at Barnstable. Total bill on that was £464.66. They changed the pollen filter, the oil filter, the oil, the screen wash, and the brake fluid. So as I say, £464.66. They provided a courtesy car, free of charge, which was quite nice, I thought, and good value for money. Tyres, I initially had to buy a couple of tyres, which were 175.20. Now that was on the original wheels that I had, and unfortunately I put those on just before I had the problem with the alloy wheel that needed replacing, so I had to replace the wheels, and then bought a complete set with fitting were £369.60 for, that's the 4 wheels, 4 tyres, and balancing, etc., which are 285/35 R22, so 22-inch alloys on this. I've actually got all the previous MOTs on the car with paperwork, and all previous service history as well, which is quite nice. So overall, that's it's good to have. Rear of the car is also a very nice place to be. Plenty of headroom in the back for backseat passengers. You've got comfortable headrests again. You've got your own heating controls in the back here. So you've actually got your own vents left and right, which you can open and close. You can set whether you want it hot or cold down here. And also you've got heated seats in the rear as well for left and right seats, which is a nice feature. And on the bottom there you've got your auxiliary socket, should you want to plug in any auxiliary devices. And you've got two 12-volt charging sockets in the rear as well. You've also got door pockets, which are quite generous in size, in the back. And you've got the rear reading lights as well as the front reading lights. That's quite a nice feature as well. Okay, I'm going to start the car. Up comes the knob, the gears. So you've got your, obviously your park setting, reverse, which will bring up your reverse camera, neutral, drive, and then sport, which you have to push down and turn. So that's your gear settings there. And one of the features I like about the gear knob is when you switch the engine off, it disappears, it drops down, so that's completely flat then. And again, when you start the car, that pops back up into position. Behind that you've got your controls for your height of your suspension. This one will move the modes up and down, your height. So you can actually, if I show you on the dash, if I hit that, it's gone to normal height. I mean, axis mode at the moment, and that's just raised the car. And then I'm going to hit it again, and it will go into off-road height. And if we watch the bonnet, we should see it move up a bit. So that concludes my review of my Range Rover 4.4 TDV8. If you like the video, please hit the thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more content like this, and hopefully see you next time on Dan's Car and Studio.